to talk today about mentor competencies, that being a mentor of gentle teaching is not just simply something that we give people as an honorific, a title, empty of any responsibility or any depth of meaning, but that it really has a wide range of competencies that we expect a mentor, gentle teaching mentor, to be able to achieve, and that we hope to train our mentors up to skills in all of these competencies. So we want to talk about these 9 competencies of a gentle teaching mentor, the things that we strive for them to be able to do and accomplish. And the very first one of those is the ability to assess, to evaluate. To start with, of course, they need to be able to assess themselves in terms of their own gentle teaching skills, their own gifts, and their own vulnerabilities, and to take a close look at what they need to do in order to be able to grow and develop in terms of their mentoring skills, to take a close look at their own vulnerabilities. And all of these things that we talk about gifts, we talk about vulnerabilities, in terms of the definition of our central purpose. So our gifts as mentors, our vulnerabilities as mentors, all relate to our ability to steer toward our central purpose, the purpose being to teach, nurture, and sustain the experience of connectedness, companionship, and community. As far as the vulnerabilities that we identify in ourselves as mentors, we have to take a close look at which of those vulnerabilities we can accommodate, work around, and which of those vulnerabilities we can improve on and make ourselves stronger in those areas. The second area where we need to be able to assess is the caregivers that we supervise, the caregivers that we direct in honing their own skills about gentle teaching, their own depth of understanding and their passion for the people that they serve. And so we look again at the same areas of them, their own gifts, the caregivers' gifts, the caregivers' vulnerabilities. And then lastly, we assess the gifts and the vulnerabilities, the needs of the individuals that we support, that we serve, to see how we best can steer toward that central purpose, teaching them connectedness, companionship, and community. That is the first of the 9 competencies, to be able to assess. Second mentor competency that we want to address is the competency of modeling, showing caregivers that we support what it looks like to be gentle, to develop a culture of gentleness. What does it mean when we speak only kindly, when we touch only gently and respectfully, when we look only warmly at a person, when we are exactly there in our presence for the person and with the person. Not just present physically in our posture, in our proximity, but present in our attentiveness to the person and what's going on with them, what their feelings are in the moment, and how safe and loved they feel with us. I have never been a really big fan of modeling as a solitary training strategy, teaching strategy, simply because watching does not teach a person how to do, but it gives a person a start. When a person does not know what to do, what to say, how to touch, how to act toward a person, then we can show them by our modeling. What I do the same thing. The way I touch this person, touch the person the same way. The words that I use to talk to a person, to speak gently, say the same things that I do. All of those modelings. A person can mimic us, they can copy us, they can parrot us, and they can gradually become more and more comfortable with what we do, what we say, and it becomes a part of their behavioral repertoire. Or, as they become more comfortable in the process, they are more comfortable with using their own expressions, their own comfortable actions in working with an individual. The third is mentor competency is the competency of coaching. And I am a big fan of very active, assertive coaching. If you think about a professional basketball player coach or football coach, this is not a matter of the coach sitting on the sidelines, sending texts or answering cell phone messages. They are actively involved in the process that their players, or in our case, the caregivers, are engaged in. They are up and down speaking to the person, giving them suggestions, giving them hints, saying to them, try this, do that. Don't do that, let's run this play. Say these words, or things of that nature. Many people have asked me if that's really intrusive, interrupting and butting in. Yes, it is. Yes, it is being intrusive, and it's being intrusive intentionally. Our mentoring, our coaching for the people is to help them develop their skills, help them to succeed in the interactions that they're pursuing, right? When we are coaching, that is our goal. Our goal is to interrupt and make a person better at what they are doing. The fourth mentor competency is teaching, right? In order to be a good mentor, to be an effective mentor, a person has to have the informational content about gentle teaching. They have to know the magical, mystical, technical, expert wonder words to be able to use the central purpose and discuss it in the same way that people in Michigan do, the same way that people in Saskatchewan do. When they talk about the central purpose, it has to carry the same weight that people in Iceland or Denmark or Belgium do. They have to understand and be able to express not necessarily the vocabulary, not necessarily the translation of the 4 pillars and the 4 tools, but the concepts and the passion and the meaning of the 4 pillars and the 4 tools. So they have to have all of that head stuff in them in order to be able to pass it on to the individuals that they support and to pass it on to the individuals that they supervise, the caregivers that really do the work that we say we do. There is a really critical component to the competencies of mentoring, and that is to be able to respond to some really tough questions about gentle teaching. For example, why can't we use punishment? Why can't we use contingencies? Why can't we hold back coffee or cigarettes or cookies for a person when they're not behaving in the way that we believe to be appropriate? What is all of this touchy-feely stuff about gentle teaching? And a good mentor has to have the understanding, the depth of gentle teaching in order to be able to explain this is not a process of just sloppy kisses and big hugs. It is a normal, natural process. The mechanics, the behaviors of gentle teaching, the behaviors of relationship building. Not relationship building for people with intellectual disabilities, not relationship building for people with mental disabilities or marginalized populations, normal, natural relationships that we make accessible to the population we serve. The next competency is supporting. Different caregivers have different abilities, they have different skills, they learn at a faster rate or a slower rate. They are better at the use of some tools, maybe not so much better at the use of other tools. So we support the caregivers, we give them the help that they need, just as we expect them to provide to the people they serve the supports that those individuals need. We give them more time, we give them more assistance. We back off when they are getting better at their own skills, when they are learning more, when they are capable more, and we acknowledge that. We let the caregivers know the valuable work that they do, how important they are. These are the caregivers that do the work that the rest of us say we do. And we need to let them know in an ongoing basis how important they are to the services, how important they are to the people that they serve. We need to be able to protect the caregivers and protect the individuals that we serve. If there is any possibility of a crisis arising that the caregiver can't handle, they're not prepared to handle, or if they're possibly contributing more to the crisis than they are to the solution. If the individual served is struggling with either the relationship with the caregiver or with the demands they're experiencing of the atmosphere, the environment, the activities that are going on, we need to be able to serve as that safety net, to be able to step in and resolve the crisis, allow the caregiver to back away from the person served, allow the person served to back away from the caregiver so that no harm comes to anybody. The eighth mentor competency is advocating for the caregivers, advocating for the people that we serve. Right? We need to be the voice for the caregivers. We need to be the voice for the people with disabilities in our organization, and we need to be the voice for all of those in our communities. We need to stand up for and speak up for people with disabilities. We need to stand up for and speak up for the caregivers that we supervise, the caregivers that we work with, of whom we ask to do some really hard things, right? Hard schedules, demanding tasks that we ask of them, right? And we need to let everybody know that. So we need to be their advocates. Literally, the word advocate means we need to be their voice in our organization. We need to be their voice in our communities. The final mentor competency is the idea of contributing. And I have very high standards for what I expect of mentors. I expect not only that they are good supervisors in general teaching, that they can steer and train and teach and coach caregivers, that they can support the people in our homes and in our vocational programs. I expect that they themselves will offer a large contribution to the general principles, the general practice of gentle teaching, and to a culture of gentleness. It may be by writing articles, it may be by making a substantial contribution to the organization to which they belong. It may be going into a home or a vocational program and really accomplishing some great things to enhance a culture of gentleness. It may even be to make a contribution as a participant in international conferences of gentle teaching, going out to other organizations and exposing them, teaching them, presenting to them the principles of gentle teaching, or even participating in a major role in Gentle Teaching International. But that last aspect, the mentor competencies contributing, becomes very important to me. This next generation of gentle teachers, this next generation of mentors, is our hope for the future. It's the hope of Gentle Teaching International for the future, and it certainly is the hope of the people that we serve for the future.